Okay, we have two topics today. And today is probably the last of the instructional slides. Tomorrow, we have one topic with slides, which is to show you how to apply all this thinking against a real project. And then the second part of tomorrow will be to discuss the scenario for the final case and to discuss the final paper expectation. So today we have two. One is called strategic focus. This is basically the real reason why we do projects. And the second one is called whole product, which talks about the deliverables and the customer's expectations about what it is you create in the project. So we have two final chapters of information. This segment, we talk about 4 different strategic focuses, and then we talk about the foci problem. And I'll explain what foci means later. But when we started the research, we put down a list of things, and these were the things that we wanted to figure out about project strategy. And the most important one is the one on the bottom. Why are we doing the project? What is the strategic focus? Strategic focus is the way the people in the group, the project manager, the project team, all the members of the organization should think about this project. Why are we doing this? What's our focus? And focus is what? Directed, pinpoint. And so we're trying to understand how to behave, what to do to achieve our goals, what we have to create, and how to manage and leverage our capabilities. If we don't have this relentless focus, this pinpoint going forward, what will happen is we diffuse our thinking and we start to say, oh, we have to do this, we have to do this, and we start adding things to the list of things we have to do. When we do that, what we end up doing is we expand the scope of the project. We end up expanding the amount of work we have to do in the project. Initially, we had a target. This is the size of the target. We had a set of resources assigned for this. We had a set of budget assigned for this, a set of time assigned for this, and that was our target. And so we were focused on looking at it and going after it. Then as it grows, and we let it grow, we expand the scope, we change our focus, we get lost. And we start to travel many paths, creating lots of work, and losing our way. When we did the research, we decided there would be 4 distinct approaches for the focus. One would be cost advantage. It would be the cost advantage of the product that we sell. So you go in and you want to buy a laptop, customer has a certain cost level, we need to achieve that cost level. If we are too high on our costs, we can't sell at the price the customer wants it. That's cost advantage. Customer focus is we get to know a particular customer and we create a relationship with them and we find out all the things they need, not just cost, but all the capabilities they need and why they need those capabilities and how they're going to use them. So we're very, very targeted and working side by side with the customer. So you start to end up talking and walking like the customer, speaking like the customer, thinking like the customer. And that is at the project level. And the project manager has to take those ideas and say, I have to make the team understand that what we're creating will meet this customer's needs and make this customer happy. The next one, focus, is called time advantage. We have a project and it is very strongly under deadline. Must do by, boom, this date. If we don't meet this date, all of a sudden, the government will come in, they'll look at our plant and say, you're not meeting the safety regulations, therefore we're closing the plant. Or you don't meet a certain rule in terms of work that needs to be done, and all of a sudden the union says, hey, we're stopping work. We're not working in your company anymore because you didn't meet those rules. So the project is to create the environment to meet the rules, to create the environment to meet the safety factors. Those kinds of projects are really vital to be done in a timely manner. You have a deadline. You must meet that deadline. No ifs, ands, or buts. And the final advantage is something called product advantage. And I think a lot of you see that in the ads that you're looking and you're buying stuff. You're buying something for the house, maybe a dishwasher, maybe a refrigerator, and you're saying, okay, I need this kind of capability, I need so many cubic feet of storage, I need an ice box, I need a water dispenser, it has to be a certain size, okay, it has to have chrome. So you start listing all the feature, function, capability of the product. So it is a product orientation, which is a distinctly different kind of approach than the customer focus. Customer focus will take into account the cost advantage and the product advantage, but for a specific customer. Where product advantage is usually we're looking to do everything for everybody. So we did some research and there's the numbers on strategic focus, and we found different kinds of projects and cases and stuff. And let me see if I can get this to the thing. What we found out for cost advantage, the idea is to, when you're running the project, everyone on the project should always be thinking about minimizing or reducing costs. One of the main things you do in a project is you create, design, and build a new product or service. There is an implication that there is a cost involved in delivering that product or service. There's also a cost involved for that product or service after it is delivered. It's the cost of usage. And there's even maybe later on, when you go to dispose of that product or service, the cost of disposal. So there are a number of costs involved with the product you build. How much is it going to cost them initially? How much is it going to cost the customer to keep it in service? And how much is it going to cost the customer to take it out of service? All those costs will weigh on the customer's mind, and they will say, hey, this is really cheap, really good, I want to buy. A lot of people, they make the mistake, they only look at the cost of purchase, not necessarily the cost of maintaining, nor the cost of disposal. And if you're a good consumer, you're looking at all three costs. Okay? So we have typically a lot of these cost projects also get involved with internal projects inside the company. Why? Because internally we want to run the company faster, better, less expensively, more efficiently, more effectively. So what we do is we put together a project that says, hey, let's do it better. Let's do it faster. Let's do it less expensively. let's do it more effectively. And so we spend time and effort, expend some money in the project. You have to remember, every project has a cost associated with doing the project and a benefit that will be attributed to the result that the project creates. So I'm going to spend this amount of money to get this kind of benefit. And this benefit here can be equated into dollars. And so we balance, how much did it cost me to make the deliverable versus how much am I going to get back from it? And it's very important. I had a class one time in New York, the university, and we're going over a case study with a person, and they're saying, well, it's going to cost my company $700,000 to do this project. Okay, that's great. But what's the benefit? What's the result? What are they going to get back for that $700 they spend? I don't know. I'm not sure. Hey, you know what? As a project manager, I have to be sure I understand that if we're spending $700,000 to do the project, there's going to be some great return in excess of $700,000, maybe twice that, maybe 3 times that in the return of doing the job. So I installed a great new email system. It cost me $700,000 to install it. I should expect that over a term of 2, maybe 3 years, get payback on that. Plus, I should be able to save money by doing email now in the company because I have a better system. So I think in terms of labor, in terms of materials, and in terms of processing. Those are cost type projects. Cost type projects are usually done on internal projects within the company. You don't necessarily do cost projects for external customers. So that's what we found for that. This is more results, and this resulted in looking at the cost advantage, mostly internal customer projects, okay? And they were getting poor results. What were they doing? They tried to have projects to make better decisions, and they were getting poor results. That didn't work, that kind of project. Typically, for enterprise project or a decision support service, they tried to use existing technology. Typically, the problem you have on an internal project is you need more efficiency, more effectiveness from the engine in the company. The engine in the company is using the old technology. If you don't change the technology, you're not going to get major results changes. So those projects that try to gain cost advantage by using the old technology did not do well. The good results came from they tried to reduce the redundancies. They had multiple things going on in the company that were doing the same thing. And so they said, what we do is we combine those groups together, with those activities together, and we do it as one activity in one way, and then they were more focused. Okay. So the next focus is customer advantage. And here we try to minimize or reduce costs for the customer, plus give them product advantage. So we try to do 2 things. And these were done in 2 ways, both internal projects and external projects. In other words, on the internal projects, you go to the manager of accounting and say, your accounting system needs to be improved, I can help you. The external project, you go to the manager of accounting, you say, your accounting system needs to improve, I can help you. In one case, internally, you're doing it to create better processes for the company, the internal engine. The other case, the external, you're going outside of the company and you're doing what? You're selling your service or your capability to somebody, and they're gonna pay you for the new accounting system and creating the new results for them. You know, all these slides are on eLab, you know. So taking notes is good, but hopefully they're adding to what's on here, because if you're just copying this, it's already up there. Believe me. And the work you do is for a specific customer, not just a bunch of group of customers. You say, hey, manager accounting internally. Hey, manager accounting an external company. And you're talking to specific people. So you're targeting a customer. Then you, that was a key word. I should go back, right? The key word there, huh? What was the key word? I don't know. The key word was over here somewhere, huh? This word here. My mentor always said, you should get to know your customer. You should be intimate with them. I said, hey, this is not a love affair. But it's okay. What he was saying, again, was the idea of you go and you visit a customer, whether it's an internal customer, an external customer, you become part of their family. Essentially become part of their organization. So they get to rely on you for support and help, and they recognize your expertise, and they say, hey, you work on my internal accounting system, hey, you work on my external accounting system, come on in, all the time, come on in, come and help me with my accounting system. This way you create an ongoing relationship that is one built on trust and communication. And that's why you end up looking like, talking like, and speaking like, and thinking like the customer. So what we found when we looked at our 90 different projects, there was an almost equal mix of internal customer project focus and external customer project focus. So this is one of the few focuses that both spoke to both the internal customer and the external customer. For the internal customers, they had poor results for 1/3 of the projects. Again, it was trying to make better decisions using computer. This is essentially the use of analytics to make decisions and decision supports, making the computer make the decisions. And a lot of people have had problems with that, because typically most of the decisions in a company are made by real people based on a lot of things that the computer doesn't really know. Computer knows about numbers, quantification, but computer doesn't know about qualification, doesn't know about intangible things that can't be put into numbers. People do. And so decision support systems are typically very tough to work with. And here is reverse. They had poor results when they tried to bring new technology into the company. That's bad. That's bad, because usually the new technology is good for a company. But they had good results when they were able to retain existing sales from many customers, and the use of no technology or existing technology. So they used either no technology or they did existing technology. So when you use no technology, what essentially you're doing is process work improvement. So you're doing quality improvement of the workflow, usually the automation part. You're trying to figure out how many times are people taking a piece of paper from here to that desk, and from that desk taking it to that desk, and that desk, and that desk, and then saying, hey, really, we can cut it out, and only have to take it to one desk and then the final desk. The other two desks are not necessary. That's the work improvement kind of thing. The other good results were found by the external projects. They were able to obtain future sales from other customers. And they used new or existing technology, and they used their own or outside expertise. There was an interesting thought on the cost advantage side that I don't think we saw. When we went through the cost advantage projects, when they use external experts to come in to fix the internal engine of the company, they found they had problems because the external experts did not really know too much about the internal engine of the company. They were constantly learning from the internal people. So typically those projects that used cost advantage as a focus for internal projects ended up being failures because the people that they hired from outside couldn't do the job. That was an interesting result. The next one, not the last one, but the next one we look at is product advantage. And here, with product advantage, you use the word differentiate. I have two different products. How do I tell the difference between this one and this one? Well, I look at the list of capabilities of each of the products, and I check them against each other. Comparison, right? And then I find, hey, this one does something better than this one. And this one does something better than that one. So which does what better? And am I really caring about which thing is better? This one that does it better here, or this one that does it better on this? So it's more in the mind of the customer, hey, I want that product because I'm looking for better down here. I'm not worried about better up here in this thing. Some other customer wants better up here. So they'll choose this product versus this product. So you differentiate. You look at, hey, between the two, which is better for me? And this idea of product and lists of capabilities in the product is to create what we call a unique competitive advantage. If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things, and you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe I'm better because now I can appeal to more people, more customers, because I have more capability. So I create a competitive advantage, which means that when I build a project, the deliverable, it becomes more complex, the deliverable. The deliverable ends up having more stuff in it. More things have to be built to make it function, which means as a project manager, I have to manage more capability into the product. I have to make my people do more work. And I have to make sure they get all these feature functions, this capability, into the product. This is going to require technical expertise, and it's done on both internal or external projects. And we found that many of these projects will run at fast competitive. Why? Because we're talking about product advantage, this product versus this product. This is usually typically some kind of product that's going to be used by somebody, and they're going to want to get the best product. And so I'm always looking at who's making a similar product, and am I going to have a better product than them? So I'm always in a competitive environment with my product and my deliverable, and therefore then it's fast competitive. And we try to do it for many customers, not just focused on one. So hey, you're a good customer, but I want to also address these other customers too today in my speech. So I'm going to speak a little bit to him, a little bit to her, a little bit to her. Yeah, I don't know if she's doing something under her table. It's usually, okay? I do that too, you know? I once had a class, it's funny. I never had a cell phone. So a lot of people had cell phones in my class. I said, you know, it'd be nice if you turned the cell phone off when we're in class. All of a sudden, it was a big class, I'm hearing a cell phone ring. Oh, okay. And then I'm looking around, and there's one lady, and she's under the table. You know what she's doing? She's talking on her cell phone. Hey, It's okay. Then many years later, I got my own cell phone, and all of a sudden I'm in class giving a lecture, and all of a sudden, ring, ring, ring. I'm like, oh, it's my cell phone! I forgot to turn it off. It's okay. Cell phones are the worst invention in the world. And I worked for AT&T when they created cell phones. And I said to them, they gave me one, they said, here, put this in your pocket. I said, why? They said, because we keep in touch with you. I said, why? They said, we want to talk to you. So I'm finding out, they're talking to me with this cell phone, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, I'm on call. Hey, I used to work 40 hours a week, maybe 60. I was on call. But 24/7? Are you crazy? I have no weekend. I have no home life. I have what? I have cell phone. Great. Now I have talk. This is okay. This is face-to-face is better, huh? Maybe. So we did the research on product advantage. Again, it was the differentiation. This sounds like the same slide again. Time advantage. There weren't many time advantage projects. We found out that in most cases, time was not a major factor in projects. But those that were typically for internal projects, and they were trying to minimize or reduce time to market, or they had to meet a regulatory requirement. The law was going to change, and they had to get something in place to face the law. So they faced a rigid schedule and delivery date. And these were blitz-critical paces, because it's always, hey, you find out about the law too late. Then all of a sudden you have no time to get better. So time is a critical factor in some projects. Again, internal customer projects, minimize time to market, regulatory, fixed, blitz critical. This is the same slide again. Oh, foci. Spell foci. F-O-C-I. Foci. You know what foci is? Foci is keeping your eye on too many targets at once. Remember, focus is one target. Foci is boom, 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 boom. You're trying to do too many things in one project. You're trying to be all things to all people in one project. It's not possible. It's not good. It's not healthy. And it creates lots of problems. So, you really should try to have one focus for the project. Either you're going to do cost advantage because it's an internal project, or you're going to do customer advantage because you're looking at one customer, either internally or externally, or you're doing time advantage because you're looking at a deadline, meeting a deadline, or the final focus, product focus, is you looking at a market segment. Product focus is a market segment, many customers, because you're trying to create capability to meet the demands and needs of many customers. Product focus. So you should have one particular focus in mind, because if you start to go off and try to get in trouble, it's because you're trying to justify the project based upon all these different approaches. There's not one good focus in the project, not one good direction that captures the result. Well, I need to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, in order to get the full benefit, quote, to offset the cost of the project. And so it's trying to justify. And you find out that project costs grossly underestimated. the benefits are often overestimated. And so even though you're trying to get this balance and stuff between cost and benefit, you find yourself in a position where you're spending more money and not getting any real good results, benefit. So what you do, you keep on finding other things to add to the project to make the project cost justifiable, to justify the cost of the project. And what that does, it says, I got foci problem. I'm having problems with my eyes. I can't see because I'm trying to do all things to all people. I am all over the place. I have foci problem. One foci problem is...
Can I ask something, sorry?
Oh,
Does it mean
you want to go back?
Yes.
Yes. I'm not going back.
It's not important.
No, it's important. Hey, the first question of the day. What's the question?
Yeah. Does it mean that we have to choose from these 4 focuses?
You should, yeah.
Which one is the most important, and to classify that one as most important, but also how to say
Yeah, slowly I'm listening.
For example, I choose that customer focus is more important, but I have also to think about costs and times and product advantages.
Yeah, for the customer focus, you have to think about those other ones, yes, but those are less important. What you're typically trying to do is you're trying to get a balance among those 3. So what you're doing is you're doing a little bit of cost, a little bit of product, a little bit of time within the customer focus. So you're basically doing a real project. Most good projects end up being the ones that are targeted at a specific customer that do the balancing act of the product cost, the project cost, product cost, feature benefits, feature capabilities, and time. Balancing all those 3 within the one customer. What you find is that trying to do some of the other ones, cost advantage is best for internal projects. Probably customer focus is best for external projects. And product focus is the second best for external projects.
Okay.
Okay. And typically, again, time is not one of the major targets for most projects. Usually it's something that's caused by the government or some kind of external force that's saying they have to meet a deadline. Not many projects occur like that. And this is not a precise science either, okay? I mean, this is a small sample of 90-something projects, but it gives you some idea of thinking. A lot of times people try to balance the product focus versus the cost focus. What happens is, if you want product advantage, you keep on giving more capability. As you add more capability to a project, you add more work to the project. More things have to be built. When you add more work, more things have to be built. You take more time, you take more budget, you take more staff. So in effect, you're disadvantaging the cost focus. So it's like, oh, now I got lots of product, and I'm not worried about cost. The other one is to do the opposite, to put the cost in the driver's seat and cut down on the feature capability of the product, so you give less because you don't have the money to spend on it. So that's what these are all about. customer versus cost is a good focus, because if you target one single customer, then you know exactly what product, what kind of cost, what kind of time they want. But if you try to target all of these people in the room, you find out, oh, she wants this, he wants that, and all of a sudden now you got all kinds of different product elements, all kinds of different cost elements, all kinds of different time elements for each different customer. So now you got, you're doing crazy, because you're trying to get a lot of stuff in the air to do customer versus cost, so you end up spending a lot of money on that. And time versus cost also has a problem. If you take too long to do, it's going to raise the cost. If you try to make it too short, it's going to lower the cost. So you're doing a balancing act between these different things. So the different things. So if you have a cost advantage, you must prevail at all costs. In other words, your focus is cost, cut. Not cut the cost of the development, but cut the cost of what you're delivering, the product, what you're building, the service, what you're building. Cut the cost of its initial price, cut the cost of its useful price, cut the cost of its disposable price. Time advantage, again, because you're trying to meet a deadline. Every time you do something, I gotta do it, and I don't care. It's gotta be the shortest amount of time, because I'm so pressed to get time involved in the project. Customer focus, the customer is always right, as long as they are willing to pay. Remember, I'm talking to one customer, and I'm doing the project for them. I'm essentially customizing it for them. So what am I doing? I'm giving them service. So the thing is, they're right, as long as they're willing to pay. But if they ask me to do something that's going to cost me $1 million, and they're only going to pay me $200,000, how much money did I make? Minus $800,000. I'm not doing it. Customer may be wanting it, but customer's not right. I have certain obligations to myself and my company to stay within reason. So I'll do stuff for them as long as they're willing to pay for what I'm doing. And product advantage, always remember, everybody wants everything when you do product advantage. You want this, she wants that, she wants that, she wants that, he wants that, and he wants that, and you got a list of 40 things to do in the product. Guess what? I ain't doing 40 things. I'm gonna do maybe 15. Why? Because those are the 15 most important things that everybody wants. And that I will satisfy everybody a little bit. And then if I save some of that capability and that was in the list, I now come out and I do an extension to the product. I say, hey, look, I now have a thing you can plug in that adds those other 5 capabilities you were looking for. The cost for this is, so this has a separate cost and it's built at a separate time. This is my major money maker. This is my platform. I want to get my money out of this first, and then I proved that this was working. I got a lot of these out. Then I can start making these and invest in this project. And when this comes out, then I can sell those. Then when this comes out, I can sell these. And when this comes out, I can sell these. Right? But you cannot, you cannot put everything into one product. So you have to be very judicious about how you build and manage projects. So, go back to your statement. Yes, have one dominant focus. Dominant. Try to stay with it. You're gonna find people that are going to try and make you get unfocused, because what you're focused on is being successful, and what they're focused on is what? Getting as much as they can out of your project, without necessarily paying for what your project was set up to do. So you have to be careful. And those are the ideas.